What's going on, everyone? I'm back from vacation, ready to do some best ball live streams. We're going to have a lot of them here in July and in August. So let's do this. Still waiting on this Millie to fill. I've actually been waiting for a couple minutes. I'm going to refresh real quick. We got one more, and then we will see where I'm at in terms of placement. There we go. 4th overall pick. Haven't gotten a ton of 104s, so that's good. I should probably retweet my tweet that I'm live streaming right now. Because no one's commenting yet. There we go. Bindles. Happy hump day. It's been a really fast week for me. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Pete, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. Jason, good to see you. Been doing this is probably draft 60, 61 for the DraftKings Millie. Haven't updated my rankings in a minute, so I'm probably going to be, or at least uploaded, I should say. So I'm probably going to be just working off of ADP. Richard, what's going on? Costco Matt. GMs. Tamer, good morning. Good morning. Already Wednesday is a stretch. I don't know. It feels like it's already, it's been a quick week. Morning, I got the draft guide, but it's not autographed by you. I'll send you the signature via email. Woke up and thought it was Tuesday. This week is flying by. That's what I'm saying, man. What's up, Luke? Dave, what's up, buddy? Good to see you guys. Missed you last week while I was on the beach, at the pool, mostly the pool. I got young kids, so kids love the pool. I'm more of a pool guy than a beach guy. You know, the beach, you get just all gross. Kind of want to check my exposure really quick to see if I should go Gibbs over Bijan. What do you guys think? See where I'm at. Because I don't think I've gotten I haven't gotten a ton of Gibbs. It's not by choice. Yeah, I'm going Gibbs over Bijan in this draft. Because I think that there's enough, upside, especially contingent upside with Gibbs in best ball. I mean, if Justin Jefferson's there, I'm going to go him, but I'm going to go Gibbs over Bijan to get a little bit more Gibbs in the portfolio. We're at that time at this point, where I'm on draft 60 or whatever. And, all right, there we go. And so I got to worry a little bit more about exposure. Haven't worried about it much so far, but I am thinking about it a little bit more. Pool clears the beach. I agree. It's just cleaner. And you get to throw your kids around and stuff. It's fun. Beach guy when the kids aren't around. I could see that. The other thing with the beach is that I get worried about the kids in there and, riptides and all that kind of stuff. Prefer Gibbs and his RB1 runaway ability. Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion. So if you want to go Gibbs, I think Bijan's probably better in season long. But the contingent upside and the weekly upside is definitely there with Gibbs, obviously. I mean, I love them both. They're both great. Sal, what's going on? Wow, Nico, that's pretty early for him. I love Nico, though. Wrote him up in the draft guide, which, by the way, everyone, this is the first live stream since the draft guide completed. And it's done. It's out there. I'm very excited about it. A lot of new stuff in it versus previous years. If any of you have read it, thank you, number one. But number two, hopefully you got a lot out of it. And hopefully made you think about fantasy football a little bit differently. I'm going to be giving away a draft guide on this stream later in the stream. Got the 101 in my main league. I'm kind of mad about it. Yeah, the back half is pretty strong this year, more than almost any year that I can remember. Not only that, I mean, I talked about it with Rich Ryan on today's Becoming a Best Ball Bro episode. But like when you get in this, like where I'm at, basically, there's a drop off in player quality. Like you got to cross your fingers that AJ Brown falls or something, which would be amazing. Any of you guys ever go to Hilton Head? That's where I was last week. It was awesome. That's gonna be our go-to spot. My wife and I had gone before kids. We were like, yeah, this is nice. This is really, but it's like next level with kids because there's just so much to do. Got to ride bikes and there goes AJ Brown. Rode bikes everywhere. Had the pool, like I said. That was our first vacay with the twins. I want to go again when they're older and able to ride bikes. Yeah, I mean, ours was I attached a thing to the back of my bike. Well, the bike that we rented. I didn't bring my bike. I don't actually have a bike right now. I have a Peloton. We might have a running back start here, folks. No, Jonathan Taylor just went. So we're either getting McConkey or Bowers here. Ooh, we're getting Ladd. I like that. But yeah, I attached a little like carrier thing. Not one of the ones that are like the kid just is out in the open and sits upright like in a seat. It's more of the what do you call it? The thing that just attached like a attachment on the back. And so my son, who's 2.5, I just pedaled him around. And I'll tell you what, the Peloton came in handy. The Pelotoning over the last 5 years and doing those hills, it was like a 55 resistance. Anyone who rides Peloton knows what I'm talking about. It was like a 55 resistance constantly on this bike, which at this point is not that huge of a deal for me if you're going, if you're going at like a 65 cadence or something like that. But it was a heavy resistance that I had working with me. Clearwater Beach in Florida. It's a little bit further for us. That's the problem. We did do Seaside a couple of years ago with some friends, which was really nice. Yeah, you can see the draft board. Kitchen, get out of here. I just realized it was Kitchen who said it. I'm about to pick, okay? I don't want to sit here like this when I'm almost on the clock, Kitchen. Yeah, I'll get Trey McBride in the 3rd round. Sure. But yeah, the riding the bikes was a lot of fun. A lot of people are saying good stuff about. Someone said family in Bluffton. I actually had to go to Bluffton because on the way down, get this, guys, okay? And I'll answer your fantasy questions in a second. We're just chilling out. We're hanging out. On the way down, we're in the middle because I live in Charlotte, so it's like a 4.5 hour drive. On the way down, we're like 2 hours in. We're like right out of Columbia. And I'm driving on the highway and a rock evidently came up in a little pebble, hit the side of the windshield. Okay. And I've had that happen plenty. We've all had that happen before, but I haven't had it happen like this where it started spreading. Right. And the crack was on the corner of the windshield, like on the edge. And it was just slowly getting bigger and bigger. And by the time we got to Hilton Head, it was clear across the entire windshield. I had to go to Bluffton to get it replaced while we were there. Couldn't risk it driving back with the kiddos. Okay, let's talk football now. Any thoughts on Waller and best ball? Even worth it for a Tua stack? Yeah, I think Waller's fine in best, like in this environment where like you're getting him amongst, very questionable tight ends. The last time we saw him, he wasn't that bad per route run or anything. I'm not expecting him to get back to his old form. I don't know why that just went out. It does that periodically. Does it go out for you guys for a second and it just starts spinning? But I think Waller's fine. I just think that people are incorrect in thinking that he's going to see a Jonnu Smith target share in that offense. Like, especially second half of the season, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu had like a 19.5% target share per game rate across the entire season. And the Dolphins, remember, the Dolphins before last year, under Mike McDaniel, had very rarely targeted their tight ends. Like, I'm talking like bottom 3 in the league every single year in tight end target share. And then that changed last year. And yes, they finally had a tight end that they could rely on. I don't think that, and look, I was in on Jonnu last year. He was a late round dart throw for me in the draft guide. But I don't see Darren Waller as good of a player as Jonnu Smith is. And not only that, I don't see Waller doing the things that made Jonnu work in that offense, which was the yak ability, especially last year with the concussions and stuff and the poor offensive line play. So yeah, Jameson would be, JMO would be awesome right here with Gibbs. Pair him with Gibbs. Maybe this will be a Jared Goff lineup, guys. There we go. We got JMO. You say Waller's useless, but like, I don't think you fully grasp how poor the hit rates are for tight end 20 plus, right? Like, I'm not saying just draft useless players. I'm just saying that like, you got to think about the range of outcomes and that there's still an outcome here where he's a decent red zone threat. And that's all you really need at times at tight end. I'm not drafting him aggressively. I'm just saying that I don't think he's a clear avoid. I think it's illegal for me to draft Goff too. Yeah. I wasn't able to make tea before this stream, so I only have my giant jug. Yeah, I wouldn't touch Waller in redraft either. It's not necessary. You can manage your team. I mean, I guess you could technically draft him and just say, hey, what if he is back to form in week 1 and 2 and then drop him if need be? That would be the argument, I think. Kenneth Walker. A little earlier for him. I mean, I've drafted him a good bit, but you can usually get him later than that. But you're pairing him with Jackson Smith and Jigba here. Whoops. That was not good. Oh boy. Hang on, I gotta open my app really quick. Okay, there we go. Woo! That was a close one. All right, who are we going with? Probably Devontae Smith. Keep up the wide receiver looks. I like Devontae a lot this year too. We'll go Devontae. No correlation or anything, just a decent pick. Kitchen says to get some Pickens. I do need to get more Pickens based on my portfolio, but I like Devontae Smith. You talk about philosophy and stacking and redraft. I think that people overstate it and overrate it, mostly because they force it when they don't have to. It's a 12-team environment usually, especially your your standard home league, 10 or 12 teamer. The reason you would stack, in my opinion, would be that you're trying to bet on an offense and say this offense is going to perform really well. So if the offense does well, then all these players in this offense will do well. But to me, it's a 50-50 game at the end of the day. You're playing head to head. You're not playing in a tournament style. And stacking is a more volatile strategy because obviously if the quarterback and the pairing, the pass catcher go off, you do really well. But if they don't, you're screwed or you're more screwed, right? So I don't think it's as nearly as necessary in redraft. It's fine if you want to do it. I'm, and I play more aggressively, in redraft and will take chances more than most. I mean, my whole entire draft guide, if there's one common theme every year, it's that lean into ambiguity, lean into the uncertainty, because that's where you get a lot of values in fantasy. And I'm always looking at ceiling outcomes and I'm always looking at league winners and stuff. But I don't think that has to come in the form of stacking as much as others do. Eloso. Thank you. Someone in mock, I said you can't draft Hurts if you take Chase 101 because you should take Burrow. That is where stacking is overrated. I mean, look, Burrow right now has a higher ADP on fantasy data than Jalen Hurts does. And so I think in a best ball environment, it's like I've talked to a couple best ball bros on the show and they've kind of given a split opinion. I think Karain was more on the just get Jalen Hurts because he's better. Liam, who's sharp dude as well, said that he would rather just get Hurts or get Burrow because he just likes Burrow just as much as Hurts. I'm probably more in the Liam camp in best ball to get Burrow, but I don't want to force it at all. I'm hoping to get, if I'm in the 101, you can't push it on DraftKings, number one. You can't push Joe Burrow. Here, I got to show the board. You can't push Burrow on DK because he's going to go unstacked frequently. I mean, right here, he went with Jamar Chase at the 502. He's not going to fall much further than the 505. So you're going to have to make that decision right here. And so if you want Burrow exposure, that's the way you got to do it at the end of the day. Ooh, this could be a good Laporta team. I talked about that on Becoming a Best Ball Bro, that I don't have enough Laporta right now. And if it's not Laporta, don't want to get Montgomery. Oh, yes, there we go. Do we go, do we go McBride and Laporta? Do we make this interesting? What do you guys think? Because we do have they have the same buy. I think this is a bad idea. That's a bad idea. We'll go Juwan. That sucks. Someone might disagree with that. I already have McBride. They have the same bye week. That could have really ruined me for that 1 week. I mean, I know that's only like forgoing 6 points or whatever. I could go Addison. I've been kind of fading Addison because of the suspension that's probably coming. Would have been fine and unique. It would have been unique. And I do need more Laporta. I talked about that on the show. And then I just went after Jennings, so I've been drafting an unbelievable amount of. But, we'll see. We could even go Aaron Jones to get the bring back, which he's going to fall, though, I think. It's just hard to get Addison. This is a pretty tough part of the draft, though. I kind of like going Shakir because I have Devontae Smith. And it gives us a little fun there. Let's just go Shakir. Play it safe. Kitchen says Addison. Addison just got drafted, buddy. Couldn't even get Addison. What is this giant jug? Neil, buddy. This is Mo Alley Cox the second. I had Mo Alley Cox before. This is a better jug than the old Mo Alley Cox. I drink one of these bad boys a day. And look, I have a big head. That's how big this jug is. I try to get through it every day. Digs for the Drake May stack you're going to get later. I should probably star Goff. Hate to say it. He's falling, though. Oh, no, that's actually my rankings. He's not falling that much. He is falling a little bit. I remember earlier, wasn't he going ahead of Fields and Kyler? Maybe not, though. H2O Ali Cox. Yeah. I only click Shakir if my wide receiver room feels weak and I need a floor. I think that we overestimate our ability to properly project floor and ceiling. Like, I get it. He's a lower ADOT guy. He's a slot guy, all that kind of stuff. His peripherals last year, though, were out of control. I just want good players. Have we lost faith that Keenan Allen will make it on a team before the season? I haven't. I'm still drafting him. Drafted him last night. I drafted him on a Aaron Rodgers team last night because of the possibility. Doesn't it feel like Keenan Allen's going to be a Steeler? Doesn't it? Like, he'd fit what they need. And they just want all the olds. Like, that's their strategy right now. The only problem with not getting Laporta here is that this team might snipe Goff. because I'm not going to get Goff until the 9th. That's the only downside. Your money's on the Jets. I like the Jets. That's a good idea. That would hurt Garrett Wilson because Wilson needs a pretty high target share to sustain in that kind of offense. I'm a little bit lower than the market on Wilson. I've drafted him enough in best ball. Like, I'm probably going to be at market in best ball. I don't really know why. It's just based on like how the draft kind of unfolds in best ball. And he'll often slip. But in season long, he's like QB 12 or wide receiver 12 rather. Kyle Williams or Debo in Dynasty playoff team. I don't know off the top of my head. Probably. Wait, if you're that's probably fair value because you'd be trading Debo for like a late 2. All right, we're on the clock. Should have been paying attention. We can go Kyler here to pair with Trey McBride. There's not that much. We can also go Jordan Mason, who's getting steamed right now. Let's go Jordan Mason for the bring back because that's like the last bring back that we can get for Minnesota. Hate to reach a little bit, especially for a non-pass catcher, but we're just going to do that. And then we still have outs with quarterback. If Kyler slips, we'll get Kyler, but then we can get Jared Goff if not. I think Jordan Mason's ADP is just going to rise. I don't agree with it because he hasn't been much of a pass catcher, and I think he's a borderline fade, like a void in like season long and stuff because he's like the goal line guy, some early down stuff, but he's not going to see much pass catching stuff. Yeah, I like Kyler this year. There goes Kyler. Okay, now we got to just hope that Goff is there. I hate drafting Goff when I'm drafting Goff here, but don't really have a choice. It's good that this Laporta team took Knicks because hopefully that means, and they are stacking though, but hopefully that means that they don't want to spend another pick on Goff. Although this team who had Burrow is the one who got Kyler. I try to drink a lot of water, but maybe you're right. Need a jug to monitor how well I'm doing. That's what I'm saying, Neil. Get you a jug, man. Beefcake, what's up? Sometimes you need to have teams like this. Get out of here. What is wrong with this team? There's nothing wrong with this team. You get 5 solid wide receivers, an elite tight end. Yeah, I mean Mason. To be fair, Mason and Goff is an un-JJ team for sure. Goff especially. Jordan Mason, I'm not going to be like, I've actually drafted. Let me look at what my exposure is to Mason. I'm at 6% Mason. So I haven't really been fading him. But my Goff, this is probably my second Goff. I think this is my second Goff Millie team. It sucks not having tea though right now. I like to just sip that tea while I draft. It's a lot easier to pick up than this giant jug when it's early in the morning. This thing weighs like 10 pounds. What number Millie is this? I think it's around 60. So we don't have any. So because we drafted wide receivers from good teams, maybe we can get Justin Herbert. I'll at least star him. We might be able to get Herbert in the next round. It's actually around his ADP. But that's the only out that we really have right now for stacking with the wide receivers that we drafted earlier. I didn't think he said he would be the number 1. I thought he said that he would be like the goal line guy and sort of like an early down guy, while Aaron Jones, like the way I projected is that Aaron Jones still sees like a 60-40 split on the ground, and then he still sees the majority of the receiving work, and then Jordan Mason's their goal line guy. Yeah, the yards per route run stuff is really, really scary for Jordan Mason. And he's a really, really tough evaluation because usually in these situations where guys are like backups or like they came from nowhere, they emerged from nowhere kind of players, you like to lean on their collegiate profile a little bit more. But his collegiate profile is really tough to lean in on because he played with Jahmyr Gibbs in college. So of course his receiving numbers aren't going to look that good in college. They're pretty bad, to be fair. And he's not been a receiver in the NFL, and his yards per route run has been horrible in the NFL. So like at some point you got to be like, oh, maybe he's not that great of a pass catcher. We're going to get Justin Herbert. Maybe he's not that great of a pass catcher, but I still think that there's at least some nuance that we got to approach all that with. Yeah, the Justin Herbert pick kind of landed perfectly for us. Right around ADP. Pair him with Ladd. Maybe we can get Trey Harris on the bring back or on the with our next pick. I'm higher than the market on Harris. My big thing is when I go elite tight end if I'm getting 3 tight ends. And so many of these best ball bros coming on the show are saying to get 3 tight ends all the time, even in these scenarios. But I just think to myself, like, when is Jatavian Sanders going to fill my lineup with Trey McBride? But I do it whenever my team feels solid. And right now I only have 2 running backs. So I'm going to want to throw some of those darts. We can get like a Spears. But yeah, there's not many running backs even in this next round. We're going to get either Spears or Trey Harris. Well, there's our decision. Okay. So we got a nice little Charger stack with Ladd, Herbert, and Trey Harris. And then we got our Lions stack with Goff, JMO, and Gibbs. Not any bringbacks. Well, no, we got Jordan Mason. We got to look for some from a Texan. Maybe Dalton Schultz in a 3 tight end build. Or maybe Jalen Knoll. Or maybe Nick Chubb. I haven't really drafted much Chubb. John, what's up, buddy? Yeah, let's go 4 tight end with Trey McBride here. It'd be fun. Do we think the Chargers offense can make a big leap in the elite tier? Not with Greg Roman. I'm just not a Greg Roman guy, man. Like I you look at his like previous teams and the performance of those teams, it's just not that inspiring. I think that they're going to be fine because they're talented enough. And I like Trey Harris. I like that pick. Justin Herbert's obviously really strong. And I love Demarion Hampton as a prospect. He's in the right spot. But I think that every move that they're making is telling us that they want to be a pretty run-heavy team. Almost Rachaad White o'clock is right, Joey. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if like the Chargers are the team that, from a passing offense perspective, that we're like, oh man, I didn't get enough of that passing offense. It's fine. Like I want to be in on them, but I'm not trying to be overweight. Do you have an idea of which offenses you will have the most exposure to by the start of the season? Yeah, I mean, by the start of the season, I will. Right now, I don't know which offenses those will be. I'll say, like, if you guys listen to Becoming a Best Ball Bro today, I talked about some of my highest exposed players. And it's going to lean in on like whatever quarterbacks are high exposed and that I've drafted a lot. Naturally, I'm going to be drafting a lot of players from those teams. So like 1 is New England. 1 is Carolina. Oh, I got to get over here. All right. Rachaad White o'clock it is. Am I right? We got to get a running back on this squad. Just making sure. But like I drafted a lot of good call, Joey. I've drafted a lot of Carolina, New England. I've drafted a decent amount of Pittsburgh in terms of Aaron Rodgers. But Green Bay is another one. Green Bay is to me undervalued because it's just so it's not a hard team to stack. Like you can make arguments for Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden at their cost, and then even if you don't get them, you can get Kraft with Love and like at one of the turns, and then Romeo Dobbs is there too, very cheap, very very cheap. Yeah, I think hedging Bucky with Rachaad White makes sense. I think White could have some usability, and then obviously if something were to happen to Bucky, this is a situation though where I'm starting to think: do I go 3 quarterback? Do I get Bryce Young here? Because you can stack them later. What do you guys think? It's kind of a dead area of the draft. I think there's more value to the quarterback here. I'm probably going to go Bryce. There's no stackability really with Tua, even though I do have Rashad. Tua's the value here. I could make the argument for Tua and then going. I could make the argument for Tua and then going, and I have so much Bryce, and going Waller or Malik, but I think we'll go Bryce. I've got a lot of Bryce Young guys. To me, he's like a perfect QB3. Last year, final 10 games where he started, where he finally got that job back, he was averaging over 5 points per game with his legs, which is something that we don't see from like back end quarterbacks very frequently. Yeah, so someone's saying they're having trouble adjusting DK drafts from underdog drafts. You always miss on the QB runs. That's why you got to just do that. Like, I noticed that too, and I've talked about that on Becoming a Best Ball Bro quite a bit. But basically, like, it's why to me, the top of this tier where you're at like Kyler and like, I don't like getting Goff very frequently because to me, there's so much more upside in Bo Nix and Kyler Murray than there is Jared Goff. So like I had to force it a little bit here just because people are going to be wild and crazy and they're going to draft players that are unstacked. So I don't do that very frequently. But again, like you're going to see all of these quarterbacks, this whole tier be really scrunched together, which means the back end of that group, and I'm talking like round 8 to like round 11 or round 10, right? The back of that group is going to be less valuable naturally than the front of that group. But there is like a dip also in the quality of player that you're drafting there. So the opportunity cost isn't as dramatic. But yeah, you gotta draft quarterbacks ahead or at ADP to really complete stacks and have like a really solid structure. And but that's why we're seeing the ADPs then rise for all these quarterbacks. That's the problem. But yeah, Hartman said he recommends doing a couple of the lower cost drafts to get used to the pockets. I agree. I think it's a good idea. I could go Xavier Legette with his next pick and then kind of bring it back with Rico. Well, Legette just went. I'm probably going to force it a little bit with Rico. Even though I like Jalen Wright more. But Rico at least gives me another piece to that Carolina team, all while beefing up running back. DK is the Wild West. You can't predict what other drafters are going to do. And it's tough. It's tough, but I love it. To me, it's makes it like you got to be really reactive to what's going on. It makes it a little bit more fun. All right, we're going to maybe reach a little bit, but this is technically where I have around where I have Rico ranked. We still need a Texan, ideally. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to wait on tight end. We could go Chubb next. Man, it feels ugly getting Nick Chubb. I think I'm just going to get Jalen Wright if he's still there because I just like him as a value. And I have Rashad White. A little week 17 action. Do you get Thielen at all? Yeah, I've gotten some Thielen. I got Thielen last night in a desperation stack. Yeah, Jalen Wright feels really good for this build. And then I guess I'll force Chubb if I don't get him. All right, there we go. Have you done any digging on the DK release in June? Can find some interesting info. Yeah, I haven't dug into it yet because I was on vacation last week. But yeah, I'm interested. I opened up the document and saw that it was like 1 million rows in the spreadsheet that they posted. I do want to dig into it a little bit though and see what not only that, but I want to see the just the general ownership of some of these players. Because I like, for instance, I've drafted a ton of. Actually, I'm going to use this. This is going to be your question for a free draft guide. Which late round player, like final round player who doesn't get drafted in every draft, have I drafted the most of? I talked about this on Becoming a Best Ball Bro. Whoever gets it, you'll get a free late round draft guide. It's a wide receiver. And I'll give you a hint if people don't. Oh, we already got the answer. Ransack. Devon Vele, baby. Devon Vele. I've been getting a decent amount of Vele. Ransack got it. So hit me up. Email info@lateround.com. Kitchen, if you're listening right now, we're going to get an email and we can hook this guy up with a draft guide. But I can also hook him up with a draft guide. Devon Vele. That didn't go as I thought. I didn't realize that someone would get that so quickly. But I do want to look at that too to see like how often people are drafting Vele, for instance. That was so much faster than I thought it was going to be. My goodness. I just have a hard time if you guys look at what some Broncos beats are saying, like it looks like Vele is going to have a decent role in that offense. And it's such an easy, like you can get naked Bo Nix and just be like, yeah, I'm going to get Pat Bryant. I'll get Devon Vele and have some pieces there, even if you don't get Sutton, and you can get Evan Ingram if you want to around that like turn area. So to me, like Denver's an easy team to stack too for how, strong that they should be. All right. We got to look at where we're at. Ooh, Jalen Knoll for that bring back. We somehow have 5 running backs. That happened quick. Or do we go Waller? You guys are just going to get mad at me if I don't go Jalen Knoll here. So I'm going to go Jalen Knoll. Yeah, Ransack had his late round index cards ready for real. Studied. Don't worry, Pete. We'll be doing. I'm going to do a free giveaway on each of these live streams. This is a pretty fun team. We still need a Panther pass catcher, but I'm thinking Jatavian Sanders could be that guy, or Jalen Coker. We'll see if I honestly. So I haven't updated rankings, which is why his rank is this. I'm kind of open to drafting Waller here. I already have Rashad White and Jalen Wright. I need another tight end. Are you guys going to hate me? I'm putting him in the queue. Sorry to make you work, Kitchen. Oh, man. Thank you, Neil. Thank you. We got one guy in the queue. We're putting all our eggs in the Darren Waller basket right here. We'll see how this goes. Why not? As my COO says, and he just said it, we got to live a little, right? We got to live a little and get Darren Waller as our tight end too. Okay, so look, we're at a 3.572 right now. I think that we can get another tight end because of the way this build kind of came about. Get one more running back, one more wide receiver, one more tight end. And just go with the classic 3.683 build. Costco Matt's not happy with the Waller pick. Trying to think of some darts that we can go with. Is Coker still here? Probably. That could be our last wideout. And then we could look at, I don't know, just throw some random dart at a running back. Rookie running back. I've been getting Krosky Merritt and Monungai. I can't believe I become a Kyle Monungai person. Unbelievable. He was not a prospect that I cared much about. Oh, Dalton Schultz is still there. Theo Johnson. I like these like final round tight ends quite a bit. Naked Vele. I gotta not get. I gotta cool my jets on Devon Vele. Well, we could go Elijah Moore, right? We have Khalil Shakir and Devontae Smith. It's fun when like things are pretty much settled for your team. I do need another Carolina pass catcher. So either Coker, I'll probably go Coker in this next round. Dalton Schultz just went. These are the drafts though where it's like, thank God I don't have to sweat, round 18. But Neil says fair. Plus a true wild card in that he can retire any moment to go back to his musical career. Yeah, for real. I mean, that's why we're living a little here with Darren Waller. He could just leave football. We're gonna go Jalen Coker if he's there. This team kind of came together. I kind of like this. All right, we'll go Coker. We're done at wide receiver, so we need a tight end. We don't need a tight end. And then we're going to throw a dart at running back. I might actually leave tight end and just get like Tyler Conklin in round 20 and get a running back here. Oh my gosh, Marshawn Lloyd. Why is Marshawn Lloyd going as late as he's going? Day 2 capital last year, my model didn't love him. It's just shocking that he's going as late as he is. Can I pair? Are there any other pairings that I could go with a late round running back dart? I already have Dowdle, so I don't want to go ETN. Could go Woody Marks. Nah. We already have Rashad White. I mean, look, I'm just drafting Marshawn Lloyd. I'm sorry. I don't really get why his ADP is where it is. The 19th round for a guy who's likely the 1A. Of course, they'd still split a backfield. Likely the one. Oh, I like the Arande call. We should go Arande because we have a solid. Or did he already get drafted? No, he didn't. We already have a solid base at tight end. Take a guy. Who's this in reference to, Joe? Is that in reference to Marshawn Lloyd? Spot 9. Oh, wait. You were drafting in this one? I didn't realize that. We'll look at team 9 at the end of this. I blame the coach speak regarding needing to prove it since he keeps getting hurt, but Lloyd was just never high in ADP this year. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with Woody Marks. Woody Marks is not someone that I didn't even like Woody Marks that much as a prospect. And I'm a big pass catching guy. I just think that some of his numbers were a little bit inflated. There's a wide receiver too that I have zero exposure to and who is not getting drafted in some drafts. Who's that? Who's that, Kitchen? We'll look at Team 9 in a sec, Matt. Oh, I see you right here. Okay. Yeah, is it Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin? That's what I was thinking too. Or it's probably a Titans. It's probably a Elikiah Manor. Oh, the team in your newsletter. Did you send out that newsletter? Or do you need me to make any changes? We got a newsletter coming, guys, on pass rates. Tyler, good to see you at the tail end of this draft. I need Tyler, whenever I show you this roster, since you're coming in blind, I need you to rate it out of 10. Okay? You're a best ball bro. I respect your opinion. I'm going to need a rating when this is all done. Okay? Joey B got it. Oh, Josh Reynolds. Yeah, Josh Reynolds is there too, but he's also going to be 4th probably in target share on that team. I do think Reynolds should be drafted more though for infield stacks. Is he the most replaceable wide receiver of all time? Of this era, at least, Josh Reynolds? Like in real football? Like, is he that line? Like, and I'm talking like, I'm not talking like fantasy starters or anything like that. I'm talking about like a body on a team. Is he too good? I mean, I genuinely mean that because think about how many bad wide receivers there are on teams. Oh my gosh, we got sniped with Gadsden. And here I was thinking that we weren't going to tell. Oh, we probably want to go Sanders. Sanders is still there. All right, we're going Jatavian. Okay, here's our team. Tyler, you ready? You ready, brother? We got Jahmyr Gibbs, Ladd McConkey. I need everyone to rate this out of 10. This is a rule. If you're going to be in this live stream, you got to rate the team. Okay? Jahmyr Gibbs, Ladd McConkey, Trey McBride, J-Mo to pair with Gibbs, Devontae Smith, Juwan Jennings, Khalil Shakir, Jordan Mason. Bring back with that Lions game. And I got Shakir and Devontae for the Week 17 game. Got Goff, which I don't love, but we got him. Got a Detroit stack. We got Justin Herbert to go with Ladd, and then we came back and got Trey Harris. Rashad White at RB3. Bryce Young, get our third quarterback. Rico Dowdle to get some Carolina juice and a running back. Jalen Wright, Jalen Knoll to bring back in that Chargers game. Darren Waller as tight end 2. Pair him with Jalen Wright and Rashad White. Jalen Wright. Jalen Coker for Bryce Young. Marshawn Lloyd and Jatavian Sanders for Bryce Young. That's the squad. 6 running back. Hero RB build. Elite tight end. People are saying RB seems iffy. Pete says you cooked with this team, solid 8.5 at least. This does feel, here, I'll say this before Tyler gives us his rating. This feels like an emo Cowboy team. Given I know he is look at that. This, I told you. Look at this. 9 out of 10. That's hella nice with stacks, correlations, and construction. Thank you, Tyler. 7. Agree, running back is lacking. Agreed. That's what happens. That's what happens when you go hero RB. Jordan Mason at RB2 is scary. Really, really scary. It's an emo-ass team. You're right. It very much is. Like, I got a lot of the guys we talked about on Becoming a Best Ball Bro on this team. I'm pleased with it. I think it's going to be like it's a competitive team. All right, let's look at 9. This is a squad from Costco Matt in chat. Jordan Mason and RB2 is the dream. Let's see. He said, Matt said, let's find the mistake that he made. Okay, so he's right here in the 9 spot. CMC, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels. So you got the stack. George Pickens, Roma Dunze, Aaron Jones, Darnell Mooney, Caleb Williams, Cam Scattaboo, Colson Loveland, Michael Penix. All right, so you got the Penix stack. You got Caleb with Rome. I mean, is the mistake... All right, we'll keep going. Jaden Blue, Zach Ertz. So you got another piece to Washington. Will Shipley, Michael Wilson, Keenan Allen, Terrence Ferguson, Kyle Monangai, Jalen Lane. I don't know. I didn't spot anything glaring. The mistake probably... You got the Rams bringing back with Ferguson. 2-stack by week 5 bye. So don't love it. I wasn't looking at the buys. I think it's a fine enough team. No guys, and I'm like, whoa, why'd you do that? Yeah, bye week please are here. All right, that was fun, guys. That was a good draft. That was a fun draft. The mistake was entering a draft with JJ. Only 1 in 11 chance of moving on now. That was a fun draft. I feel good about that squad. I've been trying to mix things up though with my builds. I've gone RB recently. I got CMC and Achane yesterday, which I felt good about. Been trying to do that a little bit more. Just to get some variation. It just forces you to get players you don't usually get too, later in the draft. But anyway, thank you guys as always for tuning in. We gave away a draft guide. We'll be doing that each time on these shows, hopefully, if I remember. Make sure you guys are listening to Becoming a Best Ball Bro. That came out today. Just search for the Late Round Fantasy Football Podcast feed anywhere you can find podcasts. The draft guide is available for sale right now. I put a lot of sweat into that thing. Some tears as well. Check that out over on lateround.com. Otherwise, everyone, as always, thanks for tuning in.